Welcome, or if it's your first time here, welcome, you found me. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Jimmy. This is First Gen Mini Rescue. Rescuing minis, trying to keep the first generations, usually supercharged ones, but any first generation on the road and having fun with their owners. Anyway, I'm gonna read today's fortune. And then I'm going to tell you guys about this rabbit hole that I'm trying not to fall in. So let me get the fortune out the way. Oh boy, today's fortune says, there are many ways you can be hurtful, but only one way to heal. That is through love. Okay, yeah, there's many ways to be hurtful. It's not necessary to be hurtful, but there's many ways you can do that. But you only heal through love. So, if you hurt somebody, apologize, but don't just say the words, show the actions too. Show the love, and that's everywhere you go, show the love. And it could be simple things, a smile, a thumbs up to a kid riding a bicycle for the first time, something. But anyway, you don't have to hurt somebody to show love. Anyway. So if that's what you get, that's what you get. That's what I get, But I try to do that as much as possible. Anyway, to this rabbit hole, I have a list, things that I've been doing to this car. The main purpose was to get this car somewhat decent for the top-down season that's upcoming. It's spring, it's March 2025, March 12th or 13th. I'm not sure of the date. It'll be down here, or more over this way. But anyway, yeah, so I'm getting it ready for the top-down season. There was a couple of things I wanted to address. We've had the car for 5 years or so. I think this will be our 6th summer with the car. Never changed brakes. I changed them. So there's new pads, rotors. I bled the system. Just started out with just changing the brakes, but then I was like, well, replace the fluid, never been done. Okay, got that out of the way. Then there was adjusting the top to make sure it didn't whistle. I kind of did it. I want to do it some more. But let me get my list. Okay, this is the rabbit hole I'm going down. This is the blue R52, which is the convertible. I added that I should go ahead and drain and flush the coolant, right? Because it's going to be driven mostly in the summer. So might as well do that. Well, while I'm in there, might as well change the fan, low speed resistor. Low speed resistor, that's this. So you see my arrow drawing down to this box. I got it here. So I'll drain the fluid, put it in front end service mode, go ahead and change that resistor because it's 20 years old. I'm sure it's original. I'm not even going to test it to see if it works. I'm putting a new one. All right, the front window regulators, the passenger side was slow and not going all the way down. It was having issues. And the driver's side window probably gets more use by, going to drive up bank tellers and fast food joints and paying tolls, whatever. You use the driver's side window more often than the passenger side. So it's probably going to be on its way out. So I ordered both window regulators for the doors. I already did the back windows because those have the same duty cycle. They go down and up the same amount of times. There's no individual switch on the Mini Coopers. But I'll show, there'll be a little thing coming up here that'll talk about, rebuilding those regulators. But while I'm in there, there's an arrow here. Those doors, they come with some sound deadening, but not a lot. And when you close the door and the top is open, it makes a big, I don't know if it's like a metal sound, like aluminum. It's just hollow. So while you're in there with the window regulators, you got to take the door cards off, or door panels, as we call them. You might as well put a little bit of a door, sound shield in there, and roll that in there. So that's happening while I'm in there. I already went and got the transmission valve body, and so I might as well, I was going to change the fluid and filter, which my parts came in, so I do have all the parts for that. But while I'm in there, might as well take the valve body and change up the solenoids and see if that'll improve the shifting on this car. So yeah, the battery, I looked at the back, it's a 2019. It's already 2025, so it's 6 years old. I do keep it on a maintainer, a charger, whenever we're not driving it, you know, for a day or two. So it does stay maintained, so that's got a question mark. But while I was changing the brakes, I noticed the mirror on the passenger side, the gasket was ripped off or broken at the bottom. There was a little water dripping out, so I was like, oh, now I got to change that. So I ordered those parts. They should be here today. So now, don't just do one, do two. So I got the mirror gasket. So I'm trying to stop this list from growing, because the more I'm in there and the more I'm under the car, the more I see, the more I want to fix. And that wasn't the point. This is not a complete refresh of this car. This was just to get the car very, you know, stable, reliable, because what we like to do, we have friends in Florida, we have friends in New York and family in Louisiana. If we on a Thursday night or Friday morning say, hey, after work, let's go run up to Niagara Falls and let's take the convertible. Well, then, you know, I wanted to be able to just start up and go, not have to change the oil, check the oil, do all of this, do that. So yeah, I like the cars, all of our cars, to be maintained that way. And of course, they're all not. There's certain things that they need. However, I try to keep it there as close as possible. So I'm trying to cut my list off here. Maybe I'll put like, okay, this is it. This is the final thing. Nothing else goes below. You know, we'll double up. You know, okay, nothing goes below that. Hopefully I won't put anything on that side of it, right? Anyway, so I'm gonna probably drain the coolant right now and maybe put the car in front end service mode to get ready to change this low speed fan resistor. And at the same time, I'll probably start disassembling the passenger door panel first, because that's the one with the problem. And I have both regulators right here on my table, my bench, so I'll move that out and get started. Okay. I'm gonna put this car in front end service mode so I can pull the radiator back, so I can change that resistor, the low speed fan resistor. However, before I do that, I'm gonna put the strut brace back just so that I don't lose the bolts. Probably gonna have to remove it again when it comes time to do the transmission work, like to refill the transmission. So I'll put it on, I'll snug it up. It's not gonna be torque tight. And I'll get some of this stuff out of my way. All right, yeah. These are supposed to be an 8mm. However, someone changed this to a T30 on this side. I've seen them with 10mm, but okay, so it's first time. somebody's been in here before. I got to check the other 05 and then maybe even my neighbor's 06, but the bolts that come from underneath in the wheel well that come up over here, those are usually a 8mm. Sometimes you'll find a 10mm in there. However, this one was a T30, which is also the same as the T30, that the two at the top up here, T30s. So yeah, well, somebody's been in. And also one of the 13mm nuts that hold the crash tube in, the crash bar, aluminum crash bar was missing. I probably have one in the storeroom, so when I put it back, because there's 4 nuts on one side and 1 bolt on each side. So 4 nuts and 1 bolt, vice versa. Okay, so now all I want to do is really pull the radiator out. I am going to disconnect it because I'm going to be doing some electrical work, whether it be soldering or heat shrinking or whatever I'm doing. I'm just going to disconnect it here. This is your fan for your fan relay right here. And the relay sits right about this area behind your radiator. So I'm going to have to pull this out a little bit. But I did this, make it easier. I'll drain the coolant and do my filling, my flush and fill. So yeah, whatever. Okay, also there's 4 of the Phillips head push pin type fasteners that are on each side of the fender, these things. However, one was boogered up on this side and then another one was missing. But I probably got, you know, dozens of these. So of course I'll replace them. Okay, so that gets your inner fender cover and allows you to pull. Now, I don't need to remove this. That's in my way. I didn't want to take the crash tubes off here. It's 2 16mm underneath, but I think I have to. So I'll get them off since I have to, I guess. Shout out Red Green. I've got the crash bars off, both sides. I can pull the radiator a little bit. However, I'm gonna drain the radiator. There's no drain on the Mini, there's no drain valve. So I'm gonna take the lower radiator hose off and then I'll loosen up the upper radiator hose, because if I remember right, I have to tilt the radiator actually out of the bracketry in order to get to the screw for the resistor. But let me, first thing at a time, drain the radiator. The resistor lives right behind the radiator, right here in the top of this plastic shroud here. I'm gonna pull this back a little bit just to show you. It lives right in here, right in here. However, I think I have to, if I remember right, pull the radiator out. It's got a push style pin. And then you can push the radiator housing out. Let's see. Get to both sides here. Okay, so that's that pin. And now this, it has locking tabs. We can push these tabs in by hand. There we go. And those tabs, they are replaceable if you break them. But you can see the 3 tabs, and the push pin spreads these out and locks them out. I have extras. Oh, and there's this rubber that's on top of the radiator. me see how much of this you can see. This is the old resistor, and you can tell it's already bad. Look at that. Bad, broken, no need to test it. This bolts on, this slides into the cooler, into the cooling fan, or cooling ducting work. And then bolts on right here. This is a cover. If I could get the cover to come off. There we go. Okay, let's just throw that up here for now. And this whole thing is the resistor. Let me go get the new one. Oh, okay. Here's the new. The new resistor and the old resistor. You can see there's a one independent red wire. So when you splice this together, you splice it with the one independent. And then the blue and red, you just splice blue to blue, red to red on that second one. And it's just that simple. You put everything back together. This has a zip tie, don't know why. This part is not needed. As you can see, it's wide open on the back of ours for cooling. So I guess they give you an extra part in case some cars require that. However, we don't. So I will get to cutting and splicing. What I like to do is cut as close to the old resistor as possible. Gives me more working room when I'm re-splicing everything back together. So, okay, got my new resistor soldered. I used a regular soldering iron with some solder. And I also used a marine grade heat shrink with the low temperature solder stuff on here. Yeah, so now it's just a matter of reassembly, connect back up the radiator, and I'm gonna fill it back up. And that part is done. Yeah, and I'll put the fresh, of course, it'll be fresh fluid. I remember when I changed the expansion tank, I also did radiator flush then. So it's not quite 5 years old, but it could be 5 years old, or four years by the time I saw the expansion tank. So anyway, so I'm gonna close this one up and hopefully not go down too many more rabbit holes getting this thing ship shape, so to speak. Anyway, might be ugly, but it'll work. All right, see y'all in a little while. Okie doke. Okay, I've got my wires all taped up, pretty much like a loom, a wire loom. Gonna put my cover. Now we're gonna have some excess wire, but that's fine. It can be tucked anywhere. Let's see, this one can come around and out the bottom. I'm trying to do this so you guys can see too, but it's just routing wires. So they gotta come out the bottom here. Your cover goes on like this, and it just snaps, kind of snaps in place. And these wires coming out the bottom are no problem. Your resistor sticks in here, and it gets air through, and that's what's supposed to keep it cool. But, you know, after so many years, you get your 8mm. Oh, and if you can't really find an 8mm, what is this one? 5/16 would work. Okay, real quick, I got everything back together as far as the, put the cap, as far as the radiator is concerned, and I just spilled some. But I'm gonna let it, I'm gonna, bleed the system, and yeah, that'll be done. I'm not gonna do the window regulators until tomorrow, but for you, it'll be like that. Just like that, I'm back. It's the next day. I'm gonna get these door panels removed. I've got two of the kits, driver, passenger. I don't know which one is which. They could be marked somewhere in there. I'll just figure it out when I get the door panel off. You got 4 T30 screws, one in here, one here. There's one actually behind this here, and there's one actually behind this reflector. What I do is, so those are the T30s. There's 2 long ones. I believe the long ones are here, and the short ones are here and here, or we'll see them. But I take a small, I call them a tweaker, but a small screwdriver. See if you can see that. Yep, just a small screwdriver. Stick it underneath the reflector to pop it out. This is the specialty tool that they use for windows. I got mine from Way Motor Works, not sponsored, but I guess it was on sale. You can tell it's not been used a lot because it's rusty, but when you need it, you need it. I'll show you how to use it, and then I'll show you how a lot of people do it with just a screwdriver and a rubber hammer or mallet. You just kind of get in and you grab the cogs with this, and then you just loosen it. And that's all you got to do, loosen it. Don't take it off just yet. You're going to do that from inside behind. Rubber mallet and a small flat tip screwdriver. Go find the other one. There it is. Now, I don't have to tell you, but don't hit the glass. Now, since this regulator still works, it's up at the top. But if you have to bring it down, you can bring it down. That's one of the cogs. The window is still sitting on the track, so it's not going to fall. Now the window will come straight out. Now we don't have tint on this window, but if you did have tint, be careful not to scratch it. There are two clips that hold cables in place. You can see the blue cables on the, well, I'll show you the blue cables, but let's see if we can pry those. These have been replaced already because the clips that's supposed to hold them are not clips. Somebody has got zip ties in there. Hung up. There we go. That's one window regulator out. Before I start reassembling this, you can see this little wimpy piece of sound deadening here they got so that this panel doesn't rattle. It does sound hollow. It's metal. It sounds hollow when you close the door with one of the windows open or the top open. So another one of those rabbit hole things, I figured while I was in here changing out this regulator, why not add a little bit of sound deadening? Now, I'm not going to tell you where I got it from. But anyway, so I'm just going to cut some pieces, maybe 2 pieces, and put some at the top and the bottom. As long as it's on the door skin, you know, backing the door skin, you're not going to interfere with any of the mechanisms, any of the wires, or anything like that. So I'm going to cut this up, and I'll see you once that's installed. You don't need to see it. Just put it on. It's a stick. I got rollers, but you don't need to see all that. Okay, I just put in 2 sheets. Let me show you. The sheets come that big. So what is that, about 8 by 16 maybe, something like that. But I just cut it, angled, stick it in. Again, it's not like, it's not for complete sound deadening. It's just to make the door sound a little more solid. Anyway, all right, now it's just a matter of reinstalling the window regulator. And from the looks of it, I think the one that I need is the one in here. always test the operation before you put everything on. You can adjust the window with the door panel on by raising it all the way and adjusting it from the outside with your special tool, and then or tightening it with your screwdriver and mallet. You know, just don't hit the window. Now, before I close this out, I'm going to show you the difference between sound deadening and not sound deadening. I got my microphone here. No sound deadening. Sound deadening sounds a whole lot solid, more solid on that side than it does on that side. So I'm going to put the sound deadening and the window regulator in that side. Once you get the window back in place, you tighten up I use this tool because it's a lot easier to adjust the window here. I can loosen it, adjust the window, close the door, tighten it back, and so on and so forth, back and forth, till you get it to where it's not too far back, not too far up, but it does tuck under, especially when you open, the window comes down, close it, it seals, it goes underneath, and adjust as needed, that's all. So, that's it. I'm gonna go do the other side. Trust me, I'm gonna do the other side. I'm going to probably have to solder the wires back from my little blue rope lighting that we have around, because I broke them. Oh, and another little tip, empty out the door pockets before you take the door card off or the door panel. I got my wife's glasses and GPS holder and everything else on the ground. All right, that's it for now. Thank y'all for watching. I know it was a kind of a long one, but three different things in one video. So have fun with your minis. I'm gonna put this one back on the other side, do the other side, and put the tires back on and go for a drive. It's not nice outside, so it's not really top-down weather, but that's what the heater's for, right? All right, see y'all.